Alright guys, welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. This is Ali Plays. Today we have some data mine champions. So yeah, we're going to be looking at that. And yeah, let's get started. So first guy is Rune Keeper Dazdurk. He's an epic champion support type. Yeah, let's take a look at his ability. So his A1 attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. So leech did get buffed, so this is actually a pretty intriguing ability. Although, and the chance is pretty slim. Rune of Battle is A2. Fill the turn meter of all allies by 25%. I like that. And also places a 50% increased attack. I like that as well. And that's going to be on a 3-turn cooldown. That's pretty nice. That's actually pretty nice A2. I like it. Dwarves need that kind of champion. And that's going to pair very well with Molly Tankard. Removes all debuffs from all allies, then heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP. Automatically this is very good because it heals based on his max HP. And then he plays a 50% continuous heal buff for 2 turns on all allies that have a debuff removed. So yeah, this ability is very nice. And he might be able to see some use in Clan Boss. I mean, I know he has turn meter manipulation, but he could be used in a speed team. And he also has that leash on his A1. And yeah, there's going to be a 4-turn cooldown. And it's a very nice ability, man. I like it. Increase ally attack in all battles by 25%. So it is a universal aura skill. That's always nice to have. Yeah, overall, I'd say this guy is pretty good. Even though his leech has a very... he has a very hard time. He's going to have a very hard time landing that leech on his A1. His A2 and his A3 are very nice. And yeah, I think overall he's a very solid champion. He's a much needed champion for the Dwarves faction as well. Inquisitor Shamael. I don't know if I said that properly, but this guy looks like Bellinor, except he actually looks cool. Alright, so his A1 attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of decreasing the duration of a random buff on the target by 1 turn. If you max this out, it's a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of a random buff. I don't know why he doesn't remove buffs. Counterattacks with this skill each time and any places a debuff on an ally. That's actually pretty nice. And these counterattacks will only deal 50% of the normal damage, cannot be critical. But yeah, that's actually nice. He has a built-in counterattack on his A1. That's very nice. A2 attacks one enemy 3 times, so he's got a triple hit. He ignores 25% of the target's defense, and will ignore further 25% of the target's defense for each buff on this champion. I actually like this, man. So 25%, and for each buff, he ignores 25% more. So this guy actually can, he looks like he can wipe out one character right away, especially considering it's actually a triple hit. So he's going to be a Roto Slayer, and yeah, just plays buffs on him. Yeah, so you basically just need 3 buffs on him, and then he's going to be able to slay Rotos right away with that triple hit. Ignores 100% of the defense. And then he plays a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if this attack kills an enemy. Wow, this is actually very strong, and it's actually on a 3-turn cooldown. That is actually amazing. And he's a Void champion, so that's pretty crazy. Let's check out his passive ability real quick. Each critical hit fills the champion's turn meter by 7.5%. And whenever an ally receives a Fear or a True Fear debuff, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the ally's turn meter by 15%. Again, this ability is very good, but it's going to might be pretty annoying with Torment on the opponent's team. So if you fill your ally's turn meter, that's going to be an issue when Torment just freezes your team. But yeah, this guy is very strong. Increase ally crit rate in all battles by 20%. So overall, I actually like this guy. I personally like him better than the Dwarf. I'm not saying the Dwarf is bad. The Dwarf is actually good as well. But this guy's kit is pretty crazy. And I do like that he is void, so he can be used anywhere in the game. Next up, we have what Jay Giggs likes to call Emo Gallic. Shout out to Jay Giggs. So yeah, this guy doesn't really have a name, so I think that people call him Bomb Orc right now. So he's going to be another one of those champions that places bombs. So his A1 attacks all enemies with 1 hit. I actually like an A1 that is an AoE. And places bomb with a 50% chance for 3 turns. So he has a 50% chance. You can't even increase that if you book him. He does need a lot of books, as you can see here. Let's move on. His A2 places increased attack 50% for 3 turns and gains additional turn and detonates on, and then he detonates all the bombs. That's kind of weird though, dude. I mean, I do like that he detonates the bombs, but don't you want to use this ability before you place your bombs? I don't know. I feel like he needs to be partnered up with another champion. So maybe bombs might be emerging as a meta in the future, but we'll see what happens. Attacks a single enemy with 1 hit, places stun for 2 turns. Yo, this guy's kit might be underrated. Might be underrated. I think when he comes out, people are just gonna ignore him. But I think his kit might be underrated. I think a bomb team is the way to go. There's a guy in my Discord. He's always telling me to use bomb team, and yeah, he says he beats Roto's teams with it, so that's pretty cool. Next up, Rosin's clone, Nasus Mach. So yeah, he's epic champion and he's a void champion, and yeah, he's still defense based. So they actually did go down a little bit. He can't be better than Rosin. Let's see what happens. His A1 attacks one enemy has a 25% chance of placing a 2.5% poison debuff for 2 turns. I do not like 2.5% poisons, man. Plays an extra hit if the target is under a poison debuff. So basically he has a double hit if the enemy is under poison. And damage based on defense, which is nice. And this is a 25% chance, can be a 50% chance of placing that poison. I would prefer if that was a 5% considering he is an epic champion, a void epic, I mean. Let's check out his other ability. His A2 attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn if the target is under a poison debuff. So this guy works, synergizes very well with poisons. Let's see something real quick. How much chance does this go up to if it's maxed out? 75% chance of placing the provoke. And then he plays a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Yo, this kid's actually pretty nice. Venomancer, when attacked, has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on the attacker and receives 15% less damage from enemies under a poison debuff. Yo, this kid is actually pretty nice, man. I don't like the 2.5% poisons, but I think this can work if you want to use him with a Zavia or something like that, where you want to combust the poisons as quickly as possible. And especially considering that he provokes. Yeah, so he's an AoE provoke as well as when they attack him, they get poisoned. And then he receives less damage from enemies under a poison debuff, and he's defense based, so he's very nice, man. Increase ally resistance all battles by 40. Crowned Druid from Lizardmen. And this one's not a void, this one's a spirit affinity, and he's a support type. So Lizardmen got a support champion. He looks like an Egyptian lizard. Alright, let's go. Nature's Cycle attacks one enemy has a 30% chance of increasing the duration of a random buff on a random ally by 1 turn. I do like increasing the duration of buffs on allies, but I do not like randomness. It's a 30% chance, but if you actually max this out, it's going to be a 50% chance. So I guess not bad. It's kind of like how Golden Reaper works, where she does randomly decrease cooldown of allies. Let's move on. Overgrowth heals all allies by 15% of their max HP instead of his max HP. And then he places a shield buff equal to 15% of the max HP on allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown when maxed out. I prefer, since the 50% heal, I would actually prefer it was based on his max HP, even though his HP is actually pretty low base HP. Next up, places a perfect veil buff and increase attack buff for 2 turns on all allies whose attack is higher than their defense. That's good, man. And he places an increased defense buff for 2 turns and a block debuffs buff for 1 turn on all allies whose defense is higher than their attack. I can see this guy being very good in actually clan boss, because look over here. Not only is he able to increase the duration of buffs, he can also heal your allies, and then he actually can provide them with shields, and he can also provide them with the increased defense as well as the block debuffs, because I know a lot of people that run Ultra Nightmare actually use defense-based champions, because you can make them very tanky as well as allowing them to do a lot of damage. So this is actually very good, and he can also place block debuffs, which is very nice for the stun. But the issue is this is on a 4-turn cooldown, so you do need to make this guy very fast in order to utilize that. But yeah, I see some potential in this champion. He's very good. So overall, all the champions that were leaked seem to be very good. And yeah, we will have to see when they are released to test them out. All right, guys, so it looks like we have some more champions. So while I was editing the video, Chosen sent me these new champions, so thanks a lot to Chosen Brad. You guys check out his channel, man. Most of you guys probably already subscribed to him. So yeah, we have a new legendary Auric champion, Spirit Affinity. So this is pretty interesting. He does kind of look generic, obviously, but let's see his kit. So his A1 attacks one enemy 1 time, so single hit. Heals self for 10% of max HP and gets extra turn if the target was killed. His HP is very low, so it's kind of weird that he heals himself based on his max HP. But we'll see what happens, man. That might actually be pretty good, but for me, it looks kind of subpar right now. Attacks all enemies 1 time. Damage self for 50% HP. It can kill the producer. Whoo, the producer, man. Yo, watch out, producer. Damage self for 50% HP. It can kill the producer. So he actually can kill himself with this ability. Does this damage itself based on 50% of his max HP, or 50% of his current HP, because if it's 50% of his current HP, it can't actually kill him, right? Places 2 continuous heal buffs, 15% buffs on itself for 2 turns. And this is on a 4-turn cooldown. So this ability is kind of weird. Let's move on. Passive ability. Damages itself for 50% HP. This attack can't kill the producer. This one say it can't. No, it says it can. So this attack, guys, it can't kill the producer. So producer, don't worry, man. Just keep spamming this ability. Even though this is on a 5-turn cooldown. Even HP with an enemy doesn't work on bosses. So you basically have the same HP as the, I guess you equalize the HP with an enemy, which is actually a very good ability. Even better if he actually switches, because this guy looks kind of like a berserker. So if he can damage himself, has 50% of his HP left, switches it with an enemy, and then that would actually make it better. But we'll see, because this is still subject to change. Everything in this video is subject to change, right? So let's see what happens in the next one. Revive self with 50% HP and full stamina if this hero is the only one dead hero on the team. So if he's the last guy alive, this guy revives himself. And it works only if team contains 4 or more heroes. So they do got to fix the wording on these abilities a bit. And this is on a 1-turn cooldown as a passive. So it's actually pretty nice. Overall, he's kind of a weird champion. I still think he's a work in progress. I don't think he's supposed to be data mined yet. Or obviously, he's not supposed to be out yet because it's data mined. Increase ally attack on all battles by 33%. So it's a universal aura skill. So I do like that. Next up, Kryla Witch Arm. It looks like Tila Gormain. What is a Witch Arm? I think they're going to change her name as well. It's kind of like Tila, but Kryla Witch Arm. So she's a support as well. It's like Tila. Let's see if she's actually good. Attacks one enemy, places a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP on the ally with the lowest HP for 2 turns. That might be actually pretty good because it's based on her max HP, right? So we'll see how good that is. Blinding Glow. Attacks one enemy, places a stun debuff for 1 turn. And she has a 100% chance when maxed out to team up with 3 random allies to attack a random enemy. I actually really like these kind of abilities. Allies joining attack will use their default skills, and this is on a 3-turn cooldown max out. So she's one of those champions that have the mass, the group attacks, which I really like, which I don't even have any of. Well, I do have Hyria, but she's a rare champion. War Weirding, or Weird Wording. Places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 3 turns. Then attacks all enemies. So I don't know if this is a typo for 3 turns. Because increased attack usually 2 turns, right? I might be mistaken. And then she attacks all enemies. She looks pretty good, man. She looks way better than Tila Gormain for sure. So Kryla Witch Arm. Next up, Tikka Black Scale. Tikka? Call him TikTok Black Scale, man. Come on. Alright, so he has 100 base speed, so that is pretty good. Obviously, it looks like Jarek and Fushan. Except he's, I'm not going to say it, black scales, I'm not going to say it. Attacks all enemies, heals by 10% of the damage inflicted. He's an attack type or what? He's HP based, so damage based on HP. Let's see what else we got. Places a shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of the champion's max HP for 2 turns. This shield can actually be pretty big, what it looks like. Places a 5% poison debuff on attackers for 1 turn when hit while under these shield buffs. This is actually good as well. I like it. I like it. Bio Eruption. This champion will receive damage equal to 50% of their max HP. This will happen if it kills a champion. So what's up with these self-harm champions these days, Plarium? We got Griptuk trying to kill your team. Like, Griptuk is OP, man. Like, he kills my Rotos. Like, when they're on the same team. Like, my Griptuk kills my Rotos. So he's actually a very strong champion. Alright, then he attacks all enemies, dealing damage equal to 50% of this champion's HP. And he has a 50% chance of placing a sleep debuff on all allies for 1 turn. And this attack always lands as a normal hit. So what I'm reading at this, he deals damage based on 50% of his max HP, right? Of his HP or his max HP. So if you build this guy, technically it is 50% if he goes first, because he halves his HP first, and then he attacks. So if you build him with 100,000 HP, he's going to be hitting for 50k AoE on this ability. So if you build this guy, so if there's a way to get this guy to have like 200,000 HP, I don't know if that's even possible. He's going to be hitting for 100,000 damage on AoE, which we might actually be seeing in the future, because you don't know when this champion might be released. We might even have, I don't know, better artifacts or something like that. We never know what's going to happen in the future, or if anything is even going to happen. This is the content, guys. This is the content. Tikka Black Scale. That's the content. Increase ally HP in all battles by 30%. That's actually a pretty big boost. and it's a universal skill. I like it. So Tikka was pretty good. Tia or Thea, the 2 angel. I think it's Tia, the 2 angel. I don't know. 90 base speed. That's pretty low, I would say, for a legendary champion. Attack type. I like it. Attack 2 times at random. Has a 75% chance, 100% when maxed out, of placing a Hex. So Hex is a Minotaur's Labyrinth type of ability. Maybe in Faction Wars they might have this ability. So it plays a Hex for 5 turns, and this debuff cannot be resisted. Each critical hit decreases the cooldown of the Knot of this world skill by 1 turn. That's actually crazy. So she can actually decrease the cooldown of her ability by 2. Because it's a 2 times at random. So you build a 100% crit rate. It's going to be good. So Knot of this world. Which one is that? So this ability. Place a perfect veil buff on this champion for 3 turns. Grants an extra turn. So she can decrease the cooldown of this ability when maxed out. This is a 5-turn cooldown. So once she goes, she can turn that into a 3-turn cooldown. So that is actually very nice. And if you pair her with a counter attack, you can make that into a 1-turn cooldown. Like, it's pretty crazy. Hex Reaper. Attacks all enemies. Damage increased by 50% for each Hex debuff on the enemy team. Stacks up to 300%. That's a lot of damage. Removes all Hex debuffs from all enemies after attacking. And that's going to be on a 5-turn cooldown when maxed out. So she looks like she can do a lot of damage. Let's hope she's actually good. Cruel Angel has a 50% chance of placing a True Fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn when an enemy loses 30% or more of their max HP in a single hit. Whoa, I like that. I like that. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for the champions. So if you guys found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, make sure you guys drop a like. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm Tyrone. I need everybody to subscribe to the homie Ali Al Plays. And that's non-negotiable.